India's the sense organs, it is by nature, the raga, dvesha, the likes and dislikes are embedded in them. But what we have to do is not to get under their clutch. Dayoho na vasham agachyat. That is not to become slave to the worldly objects and worldly situations. Normally, we think that we are enjoying the objects, we are enjoying the objects of attraction. But truly speaking, are we really enjoying as a master of them, or are we slave to them? The moment something is not palatable, something is not according to my life, immediately we lose our temper, immediately we lose our peace. So, are we slave to the situation, or are we master of the situation? We are always slave to the worldly things, because we are under the clutch of the raga dvesha of our sense organs and of our mind. So the entire spiritual shastras, including Bhagavad Gita, it is only to inspire our self-effort to get rid of the slavery of the worldly things, worldly situations, and get mastery over that. That is to become the master of the world by becoming master of our own likes and dislikes, master of our own mind, master of our own tendencies, worldly tendencies. So, is it not a role of the self-effort? Because in the name of surrender to the Lord, we are surrendering to our own natural tendencies, which are degenerative, which is taking us away from the auspicious goal. Left to ourselves, suppose a boy, left to himself, he will not study, he will go on playing, until the life becomes very difficult for him. And at that time, you cannot save him also. So the parents will have to force the boy to undergo the discipline of learning the letters, learning the grammar, learning the language, learning mathematics and so many other things. By himself, the boy will not like to learn. By nature, he is given to playing tendencies until it becomes difficult for him. So suppose the discipline given to the child follows and finally he learns the literature well. When he is studying a book, say some story book or so, and reveling in that, he goes on reading, again some other discipline has to be learned. But at that time, if you ask him that when earlier you did not like to study the grammar, everything was difficult for you to follow the discipline to learn the language. Now that you have undergone the discipline and got the freedom in the world of literature, do you understand? Storybooks, he is moving over the whole world, over so many centuries, so many generations, just through reading the book. So is it not a freedom in the world of literature what he has gained? Now this freedom has come only through the discipline. So was the freedom earlier of playing whenever he wants and not studying, that freedom was greater? Or this freedom which he has now in the world of literature, which is greater? If we ask somebody, will not the boy think and reply properly that the freedom he is enjoying now is much greater and which would not have been obtained undergoing the discipline he had undergone? Like that, everywhere to gain a freedom, and we have to undergo discipline. Think of a musician, how much of discipline he undergoes just to get the freedom and joy in the world of music. A vocalist or an instrumentalist, how much of discipline, hard discipline they have to undergo. What about the sports people, those who want to play well, how much of discipline, physical discipline they have to undergo. Similarly, the poets and the writers, how much of mental discipline, intellectual discipline they have to undergo. Think of the scientists, to get into the world of science, how much of intellectual discipline they have to undergo. Any freedom is preceded by discipline. So, in the world of getting fulfillment forever by the spiritual fulfillment, will not there be discipline necessary? To get this freedom, the last and the ultimate freedom, will not there be discipline necessary? So to become absolutely free, the discipline is the Purushartha. That is why the Sharanagati is called Purushartha. Truly speaking, Sharanagati is to leave ourselves to there is a fundamental law of being, there is a fundamental harmony in nature. Whole nature is moving according to that. Only the problem is there with human beings, because we can decide our path, we can take decisions with our self-effort, we can change our path with our self-effort. The plants grow, the flowers blossom, the moon goes around the earth, the sun shines. There no fluctuation is there. They don't have to think of Sharanagati or self-realization or knowledge, anything like that. They are already in harmony with the infinite. They are in harmony with nature. Only with human beings, because of our desires, we are not in harmony with nature, with the fundamental laws of nature. So the desire takes us away from the fundamental harmony, and to overcome the hold of the desires, the clutch of the desire, to get free from the clutch of the desires, we need self-effort. So the self-effort, that is why the Sharanagati, or ultimately completely surrendering ourselves to this fundamental harmony of nature. To do that, we have to eliminate all the desires. The Purushartha is necessary for that. And that is the highest and the greatest Purushartha. That is why it is called Panchama Purushartha, or the fifth Purushartha, the last Purushartha. When we leave ourselves completely in harmony with the law of nature, we call it in tune with the infinite. When we become in tune with the infinite, then we can say that we have surrendered to Lord. Before that, we cannot say, we can try to surrender. So, finally it becomes the knowledge that we come to know that we have nothing to do here. The nature, through its gunas, they are functioning everywhere, as they are functioning in the plants, functioning in the animals, functioning in all over the earth. The nature has given birth to my body, and through the body, mind, intelligence, and even self-effort, all those are only the functions of nature, the three gunas of nature. I am nowhere that ego is absolutely wrongly placed there. Everything is the nature's function. Then only the surrender becomes complete and real. Before that, the surrender is a self-effort, it is a Purushartha. If we have to do every moment our ego comes, we have to surrender. I think you know of the Mahishasura Mandir, that Devi Mahatmya, where to kill the Mahishasura, all the Devas were called. And what they did, they were doing the Astra Samarpana, whatever power they had. Each Deva is representing one power. And they all were surrendering their power before the Devi, so that Devi can finally deal with the Mahishasura. This egoistic power, where I feel that it is my power, to surrender it to know that this power is nothing but a small fraction of the universal power, of the Lord's power. To know that is automatically becoming surrendered, and that is the last surrender. Suppose a wave, huge lashing wave like tsunami or so, lashing wave, it has so much of a power in it. Now if the wave thinks that it is my Shakti, it is my power with which I can destroy everything, it thinks like that and destroys. But is it true? is not the power of the wave, is the power of the sea. The entire ocean of that, the wave is only an offshoot. And whatever power we are seeing in the lashing of the wave, has it come from the wave? Or is it everywhere in the sea which has given rise to the wave? Sometimes it will come as a breaker, sometimes it will come as a small wave and go down. So when the wave comes to know that it is not my power, now I am destroying, but sometimes I will do something else also. It is the oceanic power which is activated through my expression as a small wave in the whole ocean. Then he relishes the surrender. He becomes free of his bondage of ego, bondage of ahankara. He doesn't think that I am the karta, I am the bhokta. He thinks that the whole nature is acting in its own manner. And it is only expressing through me. In Bhagavata, to get rid of this initially, Krishna has given so many methods. He says, Uddhareta Atmananam, that you have to lift your own being by yourself. How do you do it? Because normally, as I said in the earlier verse, the senses are always under the clutch of the objective situation and the objects in the world. And tied to them is the mind. So, whatever the senses like, the mind also gets colored by that, and mind also follows that. And correspondingly, the link to the mind is the intelligence. The intelligence also cleverly thinks how the senses can be gratified, how the mind can be satisfied. And according to that, it guides the mind and the senses. That is what our life goes on. Bhagavad Gita says that no, this is not the final fate. The intelligence which is normally tied to this worldly situation, worldly attraction and repulsion, that has to be tied to the soul, from where the viveka buddhi, the discrimination is coming, which is our real identity. In our heart, everybody has the inner voice of the soul, because we are that. That is our real identity. So when we are doing something wrong also, don't think that I don't know that I was doing wrong. In the inner voice is always telling us that if you do this, this will happen, this is wrong. You are constricted in this, you are partial, you are selfish in this. It is saying, but our attraction of the senses and the mind, it is bound so much by the attraction and repulsion that we disobey the inner voice and we follow the attraction and repulsion of the senses and the mind. So the intelligence has to be trained to listen to the inner voice, to the viveka buddhi, which is always coming from the soul, which is our own identity. We think that the soul is bound by our body-mind complex. It is not so. The soul is only one and universal. The moment we get to that identity, all troubles go, because all the desires and the corresponding activities, they come from our own thinking that I am limited by the body-mind identity. That smallness about ourselves, that creates all the problem. So Bhagavad Gita says that finally we have to deal with this raga dvesha. Even suppose from the scriptures we know about Brahman, we know about the soul, we know about the truth, but the mind does not get relieved of its problems because the mind remains still haunted by raga dvesha. However, we may say that my Lord is everywhere in everybody. The moment somebody stands in front whom I dislike, immediately I am overwhelmed with the wave of dislike. If he says something good also, we are not able to take it. And if the person we like, he says something wrong, we follow it, we are ready to take it. So, we are always trapped by this likes and dislikes. So where is the soul gone and where is the Lord gone? The Lord is in everybody. So why am I blaming somebody or hating somebody, and why am I over-clinging to something or somebody if the Lord is everywhere? So, truly speaking, we have not established the Lord in everything in the world at all. It is only we have established ourselves in the Raga Dvesha. So when we understand and we repeatedly contemplate on our real identity, which is one universal, infinite, we slowly get rid of the Raga Dvesha. So until this Raga Dvesha effects are over, we will not be able to see Lord in everything, find Lord in everything, and become completely free of all kinds of lacks or the abhava bodha we are suffering from. Bhagavata says, Raga Dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyesharan atmavashyayi vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Raga Dvesha viyuktaihi indriyaihi vishayan charan. If we can get rid of the Raga Dvesha and then we move around in the world, we do all kinds of work in the whatever is needed in the world. Such a person who is Atmavash, who is under his own control, who has become master of himself, who is not a slave to the worldly things, slave to his Raga Dvesha, slave to the objects, slave to the objective situation. If he is not, then he becomes Vidheyatma. He becomes Vidheyatma. It is not a control from outside. We say we have to control. No, we don't have to control. If we are in tune with our fundamental harmony, with our own reality, our own soul, then the law of governing comes from within. Such a person is called Vidheyatma. He gets guided by the inner voice, the harmonious voice, where there is no klesha, no struggle with it. They struggle between the intelligence and the mind, struggle between the senses and the... So he says that Raga Dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyeshkaran atmavashye vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. What happens is that he attains prasada. This is called prasada. It's not the prasada we are buying from the counter here, Laddu prasada, Payasam prasada. That is only, we go to a saint and saint gives us something in the form of a sweet or so. That is not the real prasada. The real prasada is to get a little touch of the saint's mind, which is always in prasada. Prasada means placidity. Placidity. It is not the elated form of happiness, and it is not depression. When the mind gets free of elation and depression, it always remains in a cool, calm ananda, which is called prasada. It's a placidity of the mind. So when the mind becomes free of Raga Dvesha, he moves around in the world without getting affected, without getting agitated by anything in the world. Such a Vidheyatma attains prasada. Now in Bhagavad Gita, he has shown various ways of how to go about it. First, to become even towards success and failure. Then he says that you have the Yajna Bhavana, that is, the whole world is a Yajna of the Lord. It is not a fire sacrifice as we do a limited Yajna. But the whole world is a Yajna of the world. It is dedicated to the Lord alone. Everything is dedicated to the Lord. So if whatever we do, we also do as a small speck in the Lord's universe, so that is also Yajna of the Lord. If we have this Yajna feeling, then also we are rid of our ahankara, or the constriction we suffer.